We welcome you back to CBS Mornings. We've got a very important update on our Emmy-nominated CBS News investigative series. We call it Decades of Exposure. Nearly 1 million people, mostly Marines and their families, may have been exposed to toxic water at the largest Marine Corps base on the East Coast. President Biden signed the Camp Lejeune Justice Act a year ago this week to create a path to compensation for possible victims. But as senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge discovered, that legislative victory has turned to anger and it's turned to frustration for some Marine veterans and their families. Catherine, can't wait to hear this update. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Gail. The new law was supposed to streamline compensation for possible victims of toxic water exposure. But the Navy acknowledges to CBS News more than 93,000 claims have been filed. While thousands are being processed a year later, no settlements have been made. What did male breast cancer do to your family?
It wrecked my family.
Mike Partain says his suffering, part of an unusual cluster of male breast cancer cases, dates back to the day he was born on his father's Marine base, Camp Lejeune.
When you see this picture, what goes through your head?
Well, that's supposed to be the happiest day of my life. My mom's holding me the day I was born.
He drew our attention to one of his first bottles of powdered baby formula there in the corner.
All made with contaminated water that was provided to us by the Marine Corps.
I can see you really feeling emotional when you look at this picture.
Yeah. I mean, it's haunting because you look at that and I'm in my mom's arms. It's supposed to be the safest place in the world. And it wasn't.
Partain's mother, Lizette, still remembers how he suffered unexplained cramps after feeding.
When he was small and you gave him the bottles, he was fussy? He seemed to be in a lot of pain?
He was crying. It was not a normal cry. It was a hurt cry.
Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
The U.S. government acknowledges that from 1953 to 1987, nearly 1 million veterans and civilians potentially were exposed to dangerous chemicals in the drinking water at the coastal North Carolina base. In some cases, levels were 400 times what safety standards allow.
At the age of 39, I was diagnosed with male breast cancer out of the blue, and I do not drink nor smoke.
A government study suggests there are possible associations between male breast cancer and being stationed at Camp Lejeune that could possibly accelerate the onset.
There's over 130 men that I know of that have the single commonality of exposure to the contaminated drinking water at Camp Lejeune and male breast cancer.
So many men came forward that they made this 2011 calendar to help raise awareness. Not everyone is here to tell their story.
Peters passed away in 2014. Chet's passed away. Mosier's passed away.
With no settlement from the Navy for its Marine Corps veterans, Partain and about 1,100 other potential victims sued the U.S. government. Justice Department lawyers responded in some cases, like Partain's, with a series of potential defenses, including one that angered him.
I'm just looking at the Justice Department filing, and it says, to the extent that the evidence shows you, Mike Partain, voluntarily assumed the risks.
I mean, that's ridiculous. It's angering to me. I mean, I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even read. How could I assume the risk for being born to something that they created?
It's a delay tactic, according to environmental advocate Erin Brockovich, who's been working with the Camp Lejeune families since 2007.
Very classic behavior that I've seen in the law in every single environmental case. Deny, 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 deny.
The Justice Department responded. Alongside our partners at the Department of Navy, we are working to develop a framework that will allow for early resolution of Camp Lejeune Justice Act claims. The Navy also said it's working to develop an early resolution framework that will provide a voluntary expedited option for those interested.
Critics say it's a money grab. Is it a money grab?
No. I mean, how could it be a money grab? I would never want any amount of money to go through what I've went through.
55 years since his Marine Corps father took the photo, Mike Partain and his mother Lizette remain haunted.
Now that you know the water was toxic, when you look at that picture, what do you feel?
Mad, upset.
Do you feel any guilt?
Yep.
The whole time she was pregnant with me, she was poisoning me. And even though it wasn't her fault, I could see that guilt in her face, and that hurt.
Federal judges in North Carolina have recently selected a panel of lawyers to represent the plaintiffs in what is shaping up to be one of the largest mass litigations in U.S. history. Tony.
Oh, Catherine, thank you very much. A powerful, powerful report. Thank you for staying on it. You know, water is so fundamental to life, to what a mother gives a child, as we saw in that report. And a baby is so innocent.
Yes.
And
That
then
picture sort of says it all, doesn't it?
And then in the argument, the idea that he volunteered and took on the risks, he's a child.
The government has got to figure out a way to make this right. And when you hear the statement, it sounds so blah, 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 white noise, compared to what these people are going. When you think about what these people are going through and are still going through.
Yeah, it feels
proud of the work we are doing here at CBS.
Yes.
To help.
Thank you, Catherine.
Catherine and her team, thank you very much.